Hi, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of Carl Jung and how we're going to use his theories as a literary theory. So, first thing you need to know is Sigmund Freud is considered the father of modern psychology. Carl Jung was a friend of his. They worked closely together, and in Jung, Freud thought he'd found a kindred spirit. They were very close for a while, and then they had a falling out. Freud was upset because Jung believed in the supernatural and was pursuing that. Freud really didn't want him to do that, and he cut him out of his club, basically. He actually had a club. He gave everyone rings, so Jung was shut out for those beliefs. Jung's theory of collective unconscious, the way we're going to look at it when we look at books, is basically Jung believed that everything that has already happened, everything that is going to happen has already happened. So he thought that there were a few basic narratives that recur over and over throughout history. He also thought settings and characters were recurring. So it's like a stock set of characters. So if in any given narrative you can look at the characters and say, oh, that would fit into this type. And it doesn't have to fit exactly, but it's going to fit into a type. So the easiest way to deal with this is something that you've probably been told to do lots when you're reading something. Make a comparison to something else you've read, so you build on that knowledge. So if you're reading a book and you have a familiar story or a familiar setting, you say, hey, that's like this book that I read, or this movie that I watched, or this TV show, or this experience in my life. And that's kind of how we come to this collective unconscious. Jung actually thought of it as a pretty supernatural thing. He believed in a lot of stuff like deja vu. Everyone's heard of deja vu, and probably a lot of people believe in that. But he believed in premier vu, like having a sensation that you're going to see something in the future. So he's a bit of a weird guy. Doesn't exactly follow the scientific method. He's having affairs with his patients. Freud wasn't following scientific method either. He was psychoanalyzing his own daughter. So that's how they fit in. A literary theory is a lens that we use to look at a work of literature or a text. So what I mean by that is a perspective. So you could read a book in many different ways. I'll give you an example. I am not a soccer fan. My wife plays soccer. So she was going to watch a World Cup game. It was the Netherlands. And I went and watched. So looked at it through my lens. I'm not a soccer fan. I didn't know a lot of the people. So that's one way to look at that experience. My wife is there mostly for the social aspect. A friend of hers is from the Netherlands and big into soccer, so she had something invested in that. Another friend had no interest in who won, is just a soccer fan, was really into the game. So that's kind of, if we can make the comparison, you could look at it through 4 different sets of eyes there. So literary theory usually doesn't start out as a theory for reading literature. These theories come from people who are thinking about real things in society. So 2 popular ones would be feminism and Marxism. Feminists are concerned with how women are portrayed, women's roles in society, things like that. Marxists are worried about class struggle, kind of the haves and the have-nots, the like 1%ers at the top taking control away from the proletariat worker. So you could read a text with a feminist lens and you'd be looking at, well, what does the text say about women's role in society? Are they able to operate, make decisions? Are the female characters flat and two-dimensional? Which I think you'll get a lot in Fifth Business, with one notable exception. A Marxist reading of a novel would look at who has the power. Is it a class division? Things like that. So I hope that clears it up. If you have any specific questions about Jung, or you just want me to go over this again, let me know. I've been answering some individual questions enough so that I thought I probably have missed the boat on explaining this to you. So you can go through the slideshow again, maybe, now that I've told you what it is that you're doing with this. Don't think too much about it. Like, you don't have to force everything into a Jungian archetype. If you see a character that you think fits a mold, you don't necessarily have to have the correct name for it. You don't have to know what specifically Jung had labeled it as an archetype. Say other characters that you recognize that character fits in with. Hope that makes sense.